Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Chris from the Ultimate Recycler here. It's Monday. We've got Monday Marathon happening where we deal with all this stuff we picked up from the charity shop. Not a great deal this week, not very many big items anyway. There's a tub of little bits and pieces we've got to go through. We'll see what we can save from going into the waste stream. Hopefully I get enough stuff to sell to make it worth my while. And every week I like to buy a few things. We've got some good stuff this week. Well, a huge esky, or as they call it in New Zealand, a chili bin, which I really like. I think that's a cool name. Not sure what you'd call them in the States, a cool box, something like that. That was only $5. We'll have a better look at that in a minute, and there's a couple of treasures inside as well. But we'll get the electronic or electrical stuff off the bench first this week, and we'll go through this tub, see what we've got. Here we have a banker's lamp. It's not an original antique banker's lamp. It's probably a 1970s, maybe 80s reproduction, but it's still got a glass shade. Not sure where it would have been made. It might even tell me. It doesn't tell me. But it's quite a nice piece. It has an inline switch, so it's not a touch lamp, but that should sell quite well as long as it works, so it should be fine there. We have a big toaster. Let's get into this and sort out our electrical stuff first. So this banker's lamp is in very good condition, actually. So it's a green glass shade. It's a brass look. It probably isn't brass. Let's just check that with a magnet. Oh, that certainly could be. Yeah, it may actually be brass. So that's okay. Assuming that works fine, we should get our, we could get $40 to $50 for that. So I'm pretty happy to pick up that one undamaged. So we'll test that in a minute. The other larger item is a toaster. We get lots of toasters, nearly as many toasters as what we get lamps. And what was the other common thing? Kettles? No, there was something else we got lots of. Clock radios, yeah. This is a Breville dual toaster. It actually would have sold quite well had it been remotely clean. It is absolutely filthy. It's been very well used. It's just really not worth my trouble to clean these toasters up. I mean, most of the cleanups and repairs I do aren't economical anyway, but toasters just take a lot of time. So given that that is actually so filthy, I think we might send this to Ewaste. Yes, I could save it if my life depended on it, but fortunately it doesn't. So I'm just going to chop the cord off and that can go to Ewaste. I do get a lot of toasters that are quite clean and we do save them. All right, let's go through the box. There is all sorts of bits and pieces in here, including I think just some wires and cabling. That's a DVD player, Linsar, never heard of that. It feels very light. I think it's a real budget model. It does have a USB. It runs off a low voltage power supply. And I often use these in the shop to test TVs. I have them running, playing movies each day that we're open. But I still should get $5 for a DVD player if it works. So we will test that. Hopefully we've got the power supply for it. All right, we just have a USB cable here, which looks to be just a standard mini USB. What's this? This is a power consumption meter for monitoring your electricity costs. These are quite cool because you can plug something in and actually see how many amps it's drawing. It's been opened, but I'm guessing it should still be in good usable condition. So that should have a market. I actually have one of these here that I occasionally plug things into just to see what the power consumption is. We should be able to sell that. We do have another clock radio. We always seem to get clock radios. That one's very dirty, but it looks like it would be okay. It runs off a USB supply. That's the that's the USB-C input, so I should have one of those. I don't think it's a radio. Might be. It's got a speaker, or maybe that's the alarm. It may well just be a clock. Volume, no, perhaps it is a radio too. Or you can Bluetooth to it as well. All right, we'll clean that up. It definitely needs a clean. We'll give it a test. We have a little USB power thing here, but that's for the US plugs, so that's really no good here. I might put that in my $1 box in case someone from the US wants it. A standard figure 8 power cord here. Not sure what that suits. Here's a Telstra Netgear. I think this is a Telstra streaming box. And I believe Telstra shut down their streaming services last year, so these are useless. Totally made redundant. It's all scratched up on the front anyway. It's not worth the effort to pull that apart. It will have a little board in it that's okay, but the board's going to weigh hardly nothing at all. So I don't know, maybe we could pop the back off and have a look, but probably just going to e-waste. Here we have an antenna. I think this is probably for a UHF radio or something. Some of them have magnets on the base. I'm not sure if this one does. Let's see if it'll stick to the toaster. Yes, okay, so that's quite a strong magnet. So that should have a market. Oh, it looks a little bit bent, but I think we could straighten that. Not sure what it's worth. We'll have to check that one out. What is this? It looks like a personal cleaning something. Is it a toothbrush? It's Homedics. It takes a 5-volt power supply. It's probably rechargeable. I'm not actually sure if it takes a toothbrush fitting in the end there. There's no power in it. Unlikely that that's going to be worth anything. Remote control. Does that suit the... No, it doesn't suit the DVD player, because that says laser. I do have a laser DVD at the shop that needs a remote, so hopefully that one works. The standard audio-visual cord. There's a keyboard, a corded keyboard. It's an Apple one, so that may have some value, assuming it works. And it needs a good clean-up, but it's actually a nice looking keyboard. I'll have to check out the model number, see if they're worth much. Now we have a couple of, what are these? Aromatherapy diffusers, scent diffusers. I think they're a little ultrasonic device. I don't know if it's got a light in it or not, but we can check those. They sell quite well. So that one has its power supply, I'm guessing. Yes, it does. And the other one here is also a silvery glass type look. And that one looks like it's got its power supply as well. So we'll check those. We should be able to get $5 each for those at least. Yep. A lot of things to test this week. What's in here? Oh, that's the charger base for whatever that other thing was. Is it a toothbrush? Doesn't say. It's a little, oh, it's a brush. Don't think it's a toothbrush though. Cleaning brush for something. Alright, we'll look that up in a minute and see. Here we have another figure 8 power cord. Looks brand new, never used. I sell these at $2 each. Much better value for me that way than chopping the plugs off and throwing them into insulated copper wire. That's the remote for our DVD. We have an antenna cord. That's fine. I just sell these at the shop for $1 each. It's coax cable, so not really worth much for scrap. Here we have a power in use. What is this? Talk. It looks like an intercom. Call, talk, and lock, but I only have one of them. Yeah, wireless intercom. So I don't know where the other one is. I'm guessing they'll be out of range. So I'm not sure what we're going to do with that one. Some more cords here, some other coaxial cable antenna cords, and they do sell. And another figure 8 power cord. And what's this? A little smartwatch. I don't know what brand it is. I don't immediately recognize it. I think it says Rise on the back. Maybe it's like a heartbeat monitor and other things as well as a watch. I have to check that one out. Don't expect it's going to be worth much. Don't have a charger for it. So there we go. That ends the box. I think we'll sort all this out. I'll do a bit of checking. I'll come back to you with a bit of a... Well, we'll run through it and plug them all in and test them. And at the end of the video, we'll go through the items I bought to flip in that chili bin. Okay, I've been wading through all this clutter. I've done a bit of checking online. I've got a few more things to scrap than what we had initially thought, so we'll talk about them shortly. First thing to do is have a look at this little clock and Bluetooth speaker. I did have a quick play with it before to make sure the Bluetooth worked on my phone. It's pretty cool. Look, I'll turn it on. I've got it plugged into a USB cord. And you hold this down to turn it on.
Power on. Clock mode.
So we have a number of different voices, and the last one said clock mode. I didn't realize clock had 2 syllables. And we have a mode switch here, so the clock is actually working, and it actually is the right time. So the internal battery must be fine. In fact, if that's the battery symbol, it's probably fully charged, which means we can actually probably unplug that. Yeah, there we go. It's running off its battery. So the mode.
Flight mode.
Flight mode.
Bluetooth mode.
Bluetooth mode.
Bluetooth has been connected.
What a great accent. So it's obviously reconnected back to my phone. It is working fine, just needs a clean up, but they weren't very dear to buy new. I still think we'd get $10 for that cleaned up. So nice little piece there. Let's turn it off and see what she says.
Power off.
Power off, another accent. So there we go. There was 4 or 5 girls did the voiceover for that clock. That works fine. Good. Now, what have we got? I did check out this keyboard, and I've given it a really quick wipe over. It does need a better clean. It really needs all the keys popped off it, which are easy to do. In fact, we could probably just pop one off now. There we go. So it needs them all taken off and a good clean up underneath, because the trouble with a keyboard with clear sides is you get to see all the dust and fluff bunnies under there. I'm not going to go to that trouble because the labour to do that would probably equal what I'm going to get for it. I think I'll ask $20, see how we go. It does suit the old iMacs computers, early 2000s, I believe. And I've tested it on my laptop. It will work on any computer and it works perfectly fine. So I'll try $20 on that. It's quite heavy. I think it's a fairly cool keyboard. So I'm not going to do any more to that one. The antenna here, I'm not totally sure what it suits. It may be a UHF radio. It may be... Well, years ago you used to have external antennas for your phones. I don't think you actually have them anymore. There'd certainly be no way to plug them in. I'm going to try $10 on that. I'm assuming that the person that would use it will know what it's for when they spot it in the shop, but I don't really know what it suits. It has a sticker here that just says Better Communications, and there's no other branding on it anywhere. So we'll try $10 on that as it is. All the cords over there, the power cords, the antenna leads, it adds up to about $12 for what I normally sell that stuff in the shop. We'll just write down $10 for that lot. The watch here, I did a bit of checking on the watch. It's a Rise, R-Y-Z-E, and I think the model was Elevate from memory. It looks new. The band looks brand new, and I thought, oh no, I haven't got a charger for it. I did a bit of checking. You don't need a charger for these. Well, they do charge, but they charge by pulling the band off. It just unplugs. And that part plugs directly into a USB. So it actually goes in the same as a normal USB plug. That's a cool idea. I like that because when you buy appliances that do that, you don't need all the extra, charger unit, extra cable, extra packaging. I like the idea that that just plugs into a USB on your laptop or anywhere. Unfortunately, though, I did plug it in and it will not come to life. It's totally dead. I don't know why. Apparently it's just got a touch screen that you normally swipe and nothing's happening. There's no buttons on it anywhere. There is a little reset button. Maybe I could try that. But I'm going to put it in the shop for $5 anyway, because the band, this side actually unplugs as well, even though that's not a plug, it's really just a molding. The bands themselves sell online for, I think they're $20 new, and this one does look new. So if anyone's got one of these with a dirty old band or wants to change colour, perhaps we'll have a market there. Perhaps someone knows more about these things and can get this to come to life. I think it's pretty much brand new. I just don't know why it won't wake up when I charge it. Perhaps we could try the reset. I don't know. But anyway, they're less than $100 brand new, so I didn't want to spend too much time on it. I'll put that in the shop for $5, and someone far smarter than me with smartwatches can work it out. Right, we have to test these aromatherapy diffusers. We'll plug them in shortly. I did some checking on this thing. It's not a toothbrush, but it is a personal hygiene type thing. And it's actually, what was it called? A microderma abrasion or something. It's actually a little, essentially a little grinding disc. I can get a close up on that. I'm not sure if we'll stay in focus. That's like a little diamond impregnated fitting. And inside that is actually a filter for a little vacuum. And that's what, I couldn't work out what these little things were, the little filters. So whilst you're grinding away dry skin, and I did charge it up, and it holds a good charge. How do we turn it on again? There we go. So that's low. Has 4 speeds. And you actually grind away and it sucks your dry skin and other incriminating DNA back into the filter, I guess to stop the vacuum system being clogged up. And so that's what it is. I guess for removing calluses on any part of your body, maybe a bit unusual, but it appears to work fine. It does have a vacuum, quite a substantial vacuum. So there we go. That's what it is. It was a microderma, I can't remember how the rest of it went, dermabrasion or something. Charging base, has the cord, has the new filters, and the little brush I saw earlier was presumably just to keep it clean. And it does have another abrasion head, maybe that's more coarse. It does actually feel more coarse than that one, so you have a coarse and a fine. I think I did check them out, I can't remember the price. I think they were under $100 or around about $100 new. I think we'll clean this up because all that will come off fine. We'll try and put $10 on it and see what happens with that. Something I've never seen before. It's quite amazing. I go through Ewaste all the time and I constantly turn up things I've never seen before. So I'll repackage that and clean it up later. We'll try for $10 on that. The little power meter here, I have seen these before, and it looks brand new. I don't think it's ever really been used. It has the books with it. It's certainly been opened. It does have a battery compartment here, which I think batteries were to hold it says a history, so I guess it's a memory function. So they're corroded. They're little button batteries. Doesn't look like it's corroded inside the machine. Oh, look at that, the tab, the little, that's between the batteries. So that's never been removed, because I often put a plastic slip between batteries on something new. When it comes with batteries, you slide the strip out and it connects. It looks like that one was between the batteries and it's now corroded in there. Hasn't really, there's a little bit of corrosion on the terminal, but not too bad. I'll clean that up. I don't think I have new batteries for it. Doesn't really matter. That's only for the history or the memory. It should certainly work off the power when you plug it in to show how much current something's drawing. I might give that a quick test to make sure it does work. But those batteries are going to have to go to batteries recycling. I'll clean that up before I put it back together. I think we'll ask about $10 for that. I don't think they're very expensive, but we should get $10 for it. They're quite handy, actually, especially in the workshop when you want to see how much current something draws. As I said, the books are in there as well, so all the information you need. Right, so all we've got left is we need to test the banker's lamp. We need to test these aromatherapy things. The things we're going to scrap at the end of the video, we'll try and pull the cover off this Telstra streaming box just to see what's in it. The intercom is pretty useless just having one of them. I checked them out online again, and I saw a set sell for $30 with obviously the two of them in really good condition. This one's very dirty and not much good on its own, as I said, so I don't think I'd be able to sell that. We might just pull the cover off, see what's in it. It's quite heavy. The Linsa DVD player, from what I can gather, it's a cheap unit that goes with a surround sound system, because you have speakers for front, rear, left, right and sub. It has your outputs there, HDMI. I didn't have a charger for it. Out of all the boxes of chargers I've got, or power packs, I did not have one that was 5 volts but 1.3 amps. It's a fairly high current for a 5 volt charger or power pack. It wasn't worth my while trying to make one. I could have connected the right sort of plug from a low amperage power pack to even a 6 volt with higher current, but it's not worth my time because I get $5 for the power packs anyway through the shop eventually, and these sell new for under $50, so it's just not worth my while trying to muck around and test it, and it would have a very limited market anyway. It's a really basic DVD player. The remote control is somewhere, I'm not sure, here it is. I'll hang on to the remote in case I need one down the track, and I think it has got a battery in it. Oh, it's 2 batteries, so I'll check those. I'll hang on to them if they're good batteries. And we will open this up and just see what the board's like. But there's not going to be much in it because it won't have a power board, because it was designed to have a separate power supply. It'll just have a little main logic board and the DVD tray we'll open it up and have a look. Not worth trying to find a power supply to sell it. And the toaster, well, I've talked about that. We're just going to chop the cord off. So we'll scrap those things at the end of the video, which won't be long. We'll hang on to the remote. The other laser remote I'll hang on to as well. As I mentioned, I might have a need for one of those for a unit I've already got, and that has batteries in it too. So excellent. Hopefully they're good ones. Increase my supply of good batteries. All right, let's plug these things in. I think I need a bit of water in them and see if they actually work. Now I've got my bottle of water just to put a bit of liquid in them. These things are quite popular. Every time I've had them at the shop, they've sold fairly quickly. So I think we'll probably go $10 each on them if they work. Oh, this one has fluid in it. And smells like it's got some aromatherapy oil in there anyway. We'll put just a trickle more water in there. And we'll plug it in and see if it works. Power supply on. Something beeped. Do you have to have them together for them to work? Has it got a switch on it? Oh, it does. Here we go. Oh, it's got a light in it too. Oh, there we go. I wonder if it changes colours. You can change the intensity. Oh, it does change colours. Very flash. Let's go with green. And I think that's starting to work. I can hear a little bit of noise. Oh, we have little dots through there. That's cool. Not sure if you can see that okay through the camera with all the reflection of our lights here. And look at that. Not sure if you can see that either. But we have a really good emission of vapour. So that's working beautifully. Looks great. We have our different colours. Doesn't change, but you can keep switching to bring out your favourite. Let's go back to a brighter colour. Red. That's great. Looks like a little volcano. Excellent. Well, we'll get 10 for that, I'm sure. Let's turn that one off. And we'll try the other unit. All right, has this got any water in it? No, this one's dry. So I'll put a bit of water in here. Turn this one on. And I guess we've got a switch somewhere for it. Around this side. Oh, this has a light too. Oh no, this one changes colours. Oh, that's the wrong shade. Let's put this one on. And it's already chuffing out lots of vapour. So there we go. And this one fades from one colour to the other. The other one may have had that setting. I didn't leave it on any setting for too long. That's really nice. So they work beautifully. We'll go $10 each on those. Absolutely. Now I've just changed my mind with this DVD player because it absolutely, I just wiped it over and it looks absolutely sparkling brand new. There's a pretty good chance that it works perfectly fine. And the amount of power supplies I get through the shop on a regular basis, sooner or later I'll find one that'll suit it. And going order with a power supply, we might be able to get $10. So I'm just going to put that in the shop with a tag on it, a little sticker to say needs power supply and testing. Too good to throw it out. I did take the batteries out of the remote control. I also took the batteries out of this laser remote, and now I have 4 pretty good batteries. I've just tested them and they're going to be fine for remote controls, so that's handy. Bit of value there for me. And now the last thing to test for this week, and I'm so confident this is going to work fine. I've already just wiped it over. It cleaned up so easily. It was only dusty. I think this has been sitting around for a long time. I would say this dates to the 1980s I mentioned earlier, and I noticed on the switch here it actually says made in Australia on the switch, so you certainly haven't seen that for a long time. Older style switch, so, and the plug of course. So I'm confident it's going to work, or at least I can get it working easily. We'll see, the globe in there might even be okay. So let's power it on. I've got it plugged in. We'll turn this on. Look at that. Beautiful. That works really well. That looks fantastic. We should check an earth before we go touching it while it's powered on. And yes, the appliance tester likes it, so that's all good. I'm going to up the price on that. I reckon I'll get $80 for that pretty easily. It would, as I said, it would have been made in the 1980s when the original antique banker's lamps would have made a lot of money. This would have been pretty expensive in the 80s anyway. So, yep, nice piece. I reckon we'll get $80 for that. Being from the 80s, why not? Does that mean we get $30 from something from the 30s? No, I don't think it works that way. Anyway, it's a nice piece. It didn't need anything other than a quick dust. These are the things I like to pick up from the charity shop to make up for my time that I spend on things that really aren't worth it. All we did here was a couple of minutes, quick test on the appliance tester, quick wipe over, $80. Thank you very much. You'll no doubt see in future episodes if we manage to sell it for that, but I think we've got every chance. All right, that finishes our testing. Let's have a look at the few things we're going to scrap next. And the first thing we're scrapping is this dirty old toaster, just because I don't have time to try and save it. So a snip there, a snip there. We have some cord. We'll get a little bit of value for that. Sometimes I will keep knobs and things off these if I feel like I'm going to need them. I don't think I am for this one. Usually they're not missing, and if they are missing on a toaster, usually there's lots of other things wrong with the toaster. So that's just going to the transfer station as e-waste this time. We'll keep our cord. Next, we have this intercom unit. We're going to snip the cord off this one as well. So we have a bit more wire. The plugs go into e-waste. And this is quite heavy, so I don't know what's going to be inside it. Probably just a board. Maybe it's got a backup battery or something. Little transformer possibly. Can't see any screws, so I'm guessing they're under the feet. They are. And the feet come out fairly easy. I think they were glued. I will keep those little feet because quite often I'll find things with one foot missing, and these ones, they're quite thick. You can actually cut them down if you need to and glue them on. Just makes, it's not really much value adding, but if something is all good except one foot's missing and it rocks, it's well worth gluing a new foot on. Okay, with the feet removed, we have 4 Phillips head screws. Okay, let's remove the bottom. One of them felt like the thread was stripped in the casing, but it's going to hang on a bit. That's got it. We'll save the hardware as normal. Yes, transformer was the weight, so there's a transformer in there we can take out. It's a decent sized board here, but I don't expect there's going to be much good stuff on it. Oh, it's got one screw in the middle. Now it should come out. What's the board look like? Fairly bland. A couple of IC chips in there, 3 of them actually. It almost looks like a little transistor radio board. Little speaker. Let's get the transformer out. At least we get a little bit of value there because it's quite heavy. Now it's possibly a useful transformer if you're into building electronic circuits and things. It looks like it's a mains, yes, 240 volt in. Not sure what the voltage out would be. Be easy to test. Don't know what the current rating is, but it has got a part number on the top of it. I have become more interested in recent weeks in selling parts through my shop. So we can actually test that. I could easily put 12 volts into it, see what voltage we have out. It's possibly like 12 volts out or something. I don't know if it's really worth the effort if I've got to test it. If it was marked, I would probably just put it straight in the shop for $5. But in this case, I don't think I would. It just takes time to test them, and then you've got to tag them as such. And it's just more and more effort. And really, who's going to buy a 12 volt transformer? You can buy them in the little power packs everywhere. So we'll forget about that one. But it is something I'm thinking more about as far as selling parts. And with my foray into repairing microwaves recently, I am starting to save magnetrons and door switches and even the turntable motors and the fan assemblies, and just put them in the shop at $5 each and see if anyone else has a use for them. And if they don't, they'll sit in the shop, which is fine. And if I need one, I know where to get one. So I'm going to start doing that with a few more parts that I think are likely to have some use to other people. And it's better me storing my spare parts at the shop rather than cluttering my shed. Okay, just some little fine wire here I'll throw in with my data cable. Really no weight to that. A little bit of mains cable. A little bit more hardware. Is the speaker worth saving? Well, it's not glued in. It's under a couple of brackets. It would suit a little transistor radio, so we might save the speaker. They often glue them into the casings and make them rather hard to get out. but this one's easier with the brackets, even though the bracket screws have like wax or glue over the top of them. There we go. Yep, it's quite a nice little speaker. Would suit a transistor radio or something. 8 ohms, half a watt. So we'll hang on to that one. Just here, I won't put that in the shop. I have tried to sell speakers in the shop before without much success. Okay, so the board itself would not go as a mid-grade board. It's a low-grade board, definitely. I don't think there's any parts I really want to keep off it. Sometimes I do break the chips off and just save them for precious metal recovery. I don't think it's worth the effort on these ones. So that can just go in with e-waste, as can the case. So really not much value in this at all, but at least we got to see what was in it. We do have a transformer for our transformer pile. Since I'm not going to try and sell it, we will save the wire separately. It's worth more than transformers. And they sell for around about $1, a bit over $1 a kilo at the moment. And the weight adds up very quickly on transformers. Okay, the only other thing to scrap now is this Telstra streaming box. I don't know how to get into it. I guess it's clipped. Let's see if we can open it up without stabbing ourselves. Screwdrivers really aren't the best idea, but this is going to be easy. Oh, there we go. Very easy. Is this a battery pack? Yes, lithium-ion battery. So I'll send that to battery recycling. That doesn't leave much in here. There is a SIM card in here. And I know some people actually save the SIM cards for gold recovery because they have gold tabs on them, but personally I don't. Well, that one actually doesn't even have gold tabs. It's only silver little contacts. It has little screws around the edge to get out to get to the board. And they're very tiny Torx screws. It's not going to be worthwhile. Take me way too long to undo that for the small sort of board I get out of it. So I'm just going to send that to e-waste as it is. We won't waste our time. The battery can go in the recycling for batteries. So there we go. We've finished all that. We need to have a look in our chili bin over there. I'm going to call them chili bins from now on. I like that. Esky was a brand name anyway, and it's just become synonymous with any sort of cooling box, and they get called Eskies even if they weren't an Esky brand. But chili bin is more descriptive and I love the sound of it. So I'll clean this off and we'll have a look at what we've got that we bought this week to flip. Well, this large chili bin or cooler is in pretty good condition. It's quite clean. It does have a little crack to the top, but only tiny. It's on wheels. The wheels roll well. It's got a handle this end, and it was at the shop, at the charity shop, for $5. So perfect time of the year to have this at the shop, my shop. There's campers everywhere over the weekend. The weather's getting warmer. I'll just put $20 in that. Should sell first weekend. So that's a good flip to 4 times my money. Happy to do that. It's nice and clean inside as well. What else did we buy? Well, I bought a couple of lampshades, only because I always use them. You guys know that I fix up lamps all the time. These are fairly sort of average, plain white shades that suit just about any base, and they're reasonably clean. They do need a little bit of a dust off, and I think they were $2 each. So I really just bought them for my stock for turning lamps into, well, a lamp base into a more saleable lamp. So I won't really actually sell those. I did find, though, in their little cutlery section, a really cool mottled green Bakelite scoop. Now, it's the sort of thing you'd have in your kitchen, in your flour bin or something like that. 1950s, I'd suggest. And it's a lovely mottled green. I'm not sure if you're getting the colours there. Really nice piece. In their cutlery for 50 cents a pick. I'm going to get $5 for that, I reckon. So that's a good flip, 10 times my money. The other thing I bought, well, you know I've got a weakness for clocks. It's a 1950s, maybe early 60s, quite retro-looking mantle clock. It has a chime, well, a strike, and usually when you see 2 wind holes, one's for the clock, one's for a strike, that just counts the hours. When it gets to like 2 o'clock, you get 2 dings or gongs or bells or whatever it uses to give you a noise. If you have 3 holes, it normally means you've actually got a chime, a musical type chime to go with it. I didn't see a brand. I haven't had a good look at it, but I know that it's not a pendulum clock. It's actually a spring balance clock. So it's a wind-up movement. It's made in Germany, it says on the bottom of the movement there. And it looks like that was a Melbourne importer, RHC Furniture in South Yarra, with a phone number. That's possibly the date of a service and someone's initials. I can't quite work out the numbers there. Anyway, it appears to be in good condition. It's got a two-tone strike. There's one, lovely sound. And now this has a little balance wheel rather than a pendulum, so there's no hanging weight. It has a balance wheel like a watch does, or a smaller clock, on a hairspring. It'll be in there somewhere. I don't know if it works. I haven't tried it. We might as well try it now. I'll have to get a key for it, wind it up and see if it goes. Hopefully it does, and I can just sell it. I'm not going to spend time pulling it apart and servicing it because it's not viable to do that. If it doesn't work, I might make it a project and we'll do a video on it one day, but that won't be today. I'll see if I can find a key and we'll wind it up. Okay, I just rummaged through my box of keys. I have one here that fits. It's a little rusty, but it's not too bad. At least we can check the clock. I've just realised it's actually, I think it's been hand painted black. It would have been a nice timber. Possibly, oh, that's nearly fully wound. That's not a good sign, unless that's the chimes. This side, okay, this side needs winding up. So it's a shame someone painted it black. I guess it was a thing at one stage, or perhaps the person that painted it had a bit of a dark side. Now, I can't hear it ticking. We don't need to rock these to get them started. Usually the balance spring bursts into life on its own. I wonder if it's going to chime if we... Okay, so that's a nice chime. That was for 2. Although that was possibly just signalling 1. Does it do half past? Okay. 3 o'clock. Okay, maybe it doesn't count the hours, although they normally do. Sounding like that one isn't very healthy with the spring. That's all we're going to get. So it looks to me like it just does the 2-tone chime on the o'clock and the half past. It doesn't actually count the hours. Yeah, my hand's a bit out of whack there. And we can certainly check that by looking at the movement, but it doesn't sound like it's going to work. Now, I paid $10 for it. They didn't even have it in the shop price. I spotted it out the back and they said, make us an offer. So I said, oh, look, $10. It hasn't got a key. I don't know if it works. And I don't really need any more clocks, as everyone knows. And they were more than happy to sell it to me for $10. Okay, so was that money well spent? Well, given that the charity shop raised money for the hall, for its upkeep, I think it was well spent. Did I get good value for my $10? Probably not, but it'll make a good project later on, and it's going to be later on. This isn't one that I'll say I'll get to in a few weeks, because I often say that and I still don't get to them. But we'll see if we can get it running down the track, or might even see if we can strip that black paint off and get back to the nice timber. I suspect that someone's been fiddling in there who didn't know what they were doing, because the balance wheel was very loose, or unless something's broken or worn out. We'll get that down the track. What's it worth as it is? Well, I could put it in the shop for, say, 20, and maybe another budding clock enthusiast may buy it, but I'm happy just to put it on my shelf for 10. We won't write down any profit on this one. It's just something that I bought because I like clocks, and we'll make a project out of it at some stage down the track. And here's the spoils this week up on the deck. You can see we have quite a lot of little bits and pieces to sell, with a little bit of hardware, some good batteries that are always handy. The DVD player we'll put aside until we do get a power supply to run it. We have some cords, we have a little bit of scrap, we have some going to e-waste, mostly the toaster. That was the bulk of the e-waste this week. Really no rubbish. A clock project down the track, and a few things to flip. Well, mainly actually really just the little Bakelite scoop and the chili bin to flip. The best pick of the week for sure was the banker's lamp. Looks fantastic, and I expect that to sell pretty quickly. That's where I can make some good money for my time. Happy with that. Also happy with those two aromatherapy diffusers. They should sell pretty quickly at $10 each. So a successful week picking at the charity shop, and we managed to save a substantial amount of it going into the waste stream. Let's have a look at the notepad. We see lots of 10s this week, a 20 for the keyboard, maybe. If it doesn't sell, it will be discounted, might end up at 10. The banker's lamp is by far the best of all of them. So as I've written the prices there, potentially $175. The two items we can sell from what we purchased should realise $25 back. So that's an even $200 back from this week's expedition, I guess we'll call it, to the charity shop. We have a couple of shades that should help turn lamp bases into saleable lamps, and we have a German mantle clock project for down the track. So even with what we bought to flip, we $25 return there more than covers our expense for our lampshades and our clock. So that's all right. Very happy with that. Good potential return. Very little going to e-waste. Let's have a look how last week panned out. We have sold the massager, we've sold the Cambrook kettle, we've sold the Panasonic clock radio, the lamp's still there, the calculator's still there, the magnifier lamp I was keeping at home, we can essentially cross that off. The boombox is going to be a project, so that's essentially crossed off as well. So most of the stuff we've bought to sell has pretty well gone. That's good. The copper jug has found a nice place in the shop and it's being admired by many. I'm sure it won't be there for long. Part 38 is all but finished. Look at this. Just about everything has sold. The blender went to a family member, remember? And the Philips iPod dock speaker is the only thing left in stock. The bedwetting alarm I advertised on my Facebook post I do once a week with the electrical e-waste stuff. I had it listed at $10. Someone messaged me and said, would you consider posting it? I'll offer you more, because I know it's a hassle. I said, I really don't want to. They offered me $45 for it posted. It cost me about, I think I said, that's more than fair. I'll take $40. Cost me $11 postage, so that left us with $29. Much better than our $10. Someone's very happy. Did take me a little while to post it, that's all. Got to find some packaging materials and that sort of stuff. We've sold a couple of the items from the list to flip, including that little desk clock that was in their scrap metal bin. So yeah, I think we can pretty well rule this off because we only have that Philips iPod dock to go, and I was nearly going to put that in the free box anyway. So if we rule 38 off, I don't think part 37 has got much to go either. Nope, part 37 only has that box fan, which should sell pretty quickly now the weather's starting to warm up, and one lamp that I've moved back in the shop because it was pretty windy last weekend and I didn't want to leave it out. Not worried about these things. They can sit in the shop for quite some time until the right person comes along. And we've ruled off earlier episodes, so I think we can cross this off. And we've just crossed part 38 off. So really, we are forging through this stuff. It's not sitting around long, which is exactly what I want. And one thing that's really helping me with this exercise in distributing the e-waste or salvaged e-waste is that every Thursday night I do a post on all the local Facebook groups, the buy, swap and sell groups, all the local towns to here within about 15-20 minutes. And so in Friday morning when we open the shop, I have all these people who have messaged me or they come into the shop because they saw my list of stuff that I've saved from e-waste, and it's becoming a bit of a looked for post now. People expect it every Friday. They look to see what I've got available this week, and it's turning over really quickly. I get messages everywhere, and as you saw with that bedwetting alarm, sometimes it works much more to my advantage because, you know, if people are happy to pay more than what I nominate, I've got to be happy with that. I am a business after all, but I'm just really pleased that I'm able to find new homes for things. YouTube's really helping. The shop in general is great because I put stuff out the front on a trestle when the weather's nice. And of course, Facebook buy, swap and sell groups are waving the flag and attracting people in. And a lot of people really like the concept of they'll happily buy something that's a bit older than perhaps the previous model, or as long as it'll do their job and they're saving it from going into the waste stream. That gives them a buzz. It helps me out. It helps the planet out. I think it's good all round. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch you in the next episode. Bye for now.